Hi everyone, it's Linda from LindaZ in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and my daughter Debbie.
Hello.
Now today we are going to go right to the quilt because we have a really cool one called True Blue. And we think it's really something that you will really enjoy because it's a very easy quilt to do. You can see it's a 6-inch block. And Debbie, what else can you tell us about it?
It's a more traditional type of color scheme with the blues from Moda. And you've got a border that is flying geese all the way around. A lot of fun, flying geese. Okay. Springtime and all the geese.
And you can see what we did is put a pocket on the back. So if you wanted to hang that on a pole as a wall hanging, it would work really well. And I think, Debbie, didn't they do this one just with a walking foot for the quilting, right?
Sure, it was very simply quilted, yes. Yeah, mm-hmm. Sometimes so that's a good way to quilt as well.
Yeah, real easy one to do. And that's what we're trying to do is give you some really cool, new ideas for quilts that aren't going to take a long time. And this would be wonderful for a man, a boy, or actually anybody that loves blue. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to do today, Debbie, is we're going to change cameras. But before we do that, I want to be able to show you a little bit about something, a little tip that we're learning about the masks. And I'm sure everyone is doing all kinds of different patterns. We do have one on the website, but you can use whatever you want. We are still absolutely taking donations. And I will tell you, we will probably be sending out masks for a long time because now families and kids and everybody is supposed to wear them when they're outside. But here's a little tip that we have found. If you don't have flannel at home and you're an embroiderer and you have this heat and stay fusible, it works beautifully. It does not dissolve. You could could fuse it onto the front layer of the mask and then not use the flannel and use the fabric as the back layer. And it will be stable and you still can breathe through it. So those are two little things I think are really important. The other thing is that now I'm trying to use batik in my masks. You want to use a tightly woven fabric, as tight as you can get it, and batik is really a great fabric for that. So hope that helps, guys. Everybody's loving what you're doing. Absolutely amazing. And at some time, we're going to just spend a whole video just on, we're going to interview people and do some of the really fun things that we've heard that you're doing. Wonderful stories out there. Now I'm going to turn it over to Debbie because she's going to show us something with precise placement.
Precise positioning.
Precise
positioning.
Positioning.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. On the Pfaff Icon, right.
Okay.
Right. So we brought up a design on the Pfaff. This is the embroidery machine, the Creative Icon. And so we brought up a design. And what we want to do is once your design is up and ready to go, I put up the biggest hoop. So I chose in my hoop options, I chose the 360 by 260. That's why my design looks so small on the screen here. So now I'm going to go to embroidery stitch out down here. And that will bring up, first of all, everything is okay. So I have my embroidery foot on. This is my security page. I'm just going to say okay. And now there's a menu that says precise positioning here at the bottom, and I am going to select that menu. So here it says attach my hoop. So let's pretend that I have hooped up a shirt that has a pocket somewhere in the middle here. And there's a pocket on my hoop. We're just pretending for now because we're not going to actually stitch this out. We had someone ask us how to do precise positioning, and that's why we wanted to show this video today. So here I'll press OK because I put my hoop on. And so basically what we're going to try and do is we're going to place the design where just right above the pocket on our shirt that is there. So we're going to press the precise positioning.
Positioning, right?
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, and our menu pops up. And so we have 4 steps. It's a 4-step process. So the first step involves this green cursor right here. And what we can do is we can zoom in to 100%, and we can say, let's say here, I'll zoom back out to the hoop size again.
Wow.
I can move it with my finger first if I want to. So I'm going to find a place. Let's say I'd like to find that lower left-hand part of the design, and I'd like to make sure I know where that's going to be placed on my shirt. So let's zoom in. And you can see it's not quite at that lower left point, so I can get that a little bit better. There it is better by moving it with my finger on the tactile screen. And then, so that one's done, so I go to position number 2. And 2 means, here, let me zoom out again. 2 allows me to now move that design where this lower left-hand corner is. We're going to put it exactly on the upper part of the pocket of our hoop. So we're still pretending here. And so on this round circle right here is where I can start moving the design.
Nice.
So I'm just sort of eyeballing it. And every time I eyeball it, what I can do is lower my needle to the point of where I want it to be in that position, right above that pocket. And I can move to the right or left as well, using the same circle over here. So I can go to the right. Let's just say that the top of the pocket is right there. Okay, so that's the upper left-hand side of my pocket. Now in step 3, I'm going to press 3, and I've got another cursor, and I want to bring this other right-hand side of my design to the other side of my pocket. So I'm going to zoom in and get that really close. See how it was off a little bit? Can you see that?
Right.
So I'm going to move that up a little bit, so my cursor's right on the lower right-hand side of the design, right? And then I'm going to zoom out again, and then I'm going to go to, can you see where I am down here? At the number 4. So I'm going to number 4, and that means I can start actually shifting, rotating my design. So if it were hooped a little bit crooked or whatever in my hoop, I can now see how my design is moving. Right. So let's say I was hooped crooked, and that's where my pocket is. And so that's how I did my perfect positioning. So now I say, okay, because it's again, I can always lower my needle to see if that's right on the position that I want where my pocket is over here in the hoop. And then my design will stitch out perfectly, and I press okay, right? And now all I have to do is press go, and it starts to stitch.
Wonderful.
So there you have it. Now I also wanted to talk about 3 different masks that I myself have made, and I'm trying to figure out which one still is the best. I think this one is my favorite one because I put a little pocket in, and that's felt on the inside, so you can put any kind of filter inside the pocket there.
Nice.
And I'm sure you've all seen different ones. And I actually put my sister Tracy brought over these really cool pipe cleaners, and so I put that in a little shaft right above the pocket on the inside here.
Oh, nice.
And so you can bend that over the nose pretty easily. So pipe cleaners are a great idea. This one I saw on a video from Europe somewhere. It's also got a pocket. This is just 2 layers of cotton, and you can put a filter in this one. Are you able to get the whole thing?
Yeah, I can.
And so this was the easiest and the fastest one I used, the pattern that I used. It was nice to have that pocket. Very, very supple. So, so you really do need to put like a coffee filter or some sort of a HEPA filter from a vacuum or some sort of filter.
Right.
And then the long straps were also the full length of a strip of fabric of 42 inches from selvage to selvage. That's what I used here. And you can just tie those around the back of your head then at that point. Otherwise, this one has that stabilizer that Mom was talking about earlier. And it also had, I also put the pocket in, so I still have that
so you have that with
the
the
felt
HEPA.
lining.
Wow.
This one's a little bit too stiff, I think, because I have the stabilizer on both sides, front and back, and I have 2 layers of flannel too. So I think this is like an N95, Mom.
I think you're right.
This one is pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
And it makes that crinkly noise that those stabilizers do. So I think this one is pretty solid. I'm not sure about this one though, actually. But I love the cars, the
Well,
fabric.
this is what we're saying. You really need to do whatever you feel comfortable with. Everybody is going to appreciate no matter what you do.
All right.
Okay. So now do you have anything to say about our
I think
next
we're going to take over, let Betsy and Madeline take over. They're doing a demonstration on this beautiful machine, the Creative Icon, which is the current top of the line Pfaff machine. And I love this machine so much. Hope you will too. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Madeline again from LindaZ, and I'm here with our guest person. This is Betsy. Actually, Betsy is also our Pfaff educator, and she's going to be showing you a wonderful machine, the Icon. Betsy, thank you for being here. You're going to show us the Creative Icon.
Yes, I'd love to. This is a wonderful machine. It has a wonderful 12-inch base for doing large quilts. It is, I think this is 5 inches high. There's 3.5 inches here under the head. So there's lots of room for changing feet. It's easy to change feet. They snap on and off. This machine is also a machine not only for sewing, and it has, I think, over 300 stitches. Some of those exclusive stitches are shown here. We have radiant stitches. We have double, single, and triple ribbon stitches. We have lace edge stitches and many other exclusive stitches.
Pfaff is known for their IDT, aren't they?
Pfaff was the company that invented the IDT, and that is this integrated dual feed, which is electronically works with the feed dogs to move the top layer of fabric at the same rate that the feed dogs move the bottom layer. So you never end up with that top layer being a little bit longer than the bottom layer.
Very cool. Oh, look at all the wonderful things that come with this machine.
It has just wonderful feet.
And look at that stitch plate. Look at the markings. It shows a lot of on those markings there.
It comes with a zigzag stitch plate and a single needle stitch plate. And it is an embroidery machine. It has the largest included hoop in the industry.
I think that's 14 inches, isn't it?
That's 360 by
260.
360 by 260. You're right, Madeline.
Oh, look at you have a mask there.
It also has over 800 built-in embroidery stitches.
Oh,
One of
my.
the things that we love about this machine is that it's Wi-Fi enabled, so that updates come automatically to the machine. And there's an app, or 3 apps that are also included with the machine. One of the apps will let you know when you're embroidering, it's time to change threads. So.
It's very smart.
Yes, Madeline, I do have a mask here. And the reason I have a mask is because there's a lot of people asking for elastic. And I think there's really, if there's any elastic left in the country, it would be a miracle. So we're left to make ties for our mask. And what I thought was that I would use this foot that comes with the Icon. It's a narrow edge foot, and it uses the IDT, which I've just engaged. And what I thought I would do was just show that I've cut 2.5 inch wide strips of fabric. I've just folded them in the center. You can use a bias tape maker or just fold it. I used a pin stuck on the ironing board. And what I'm going to do now is just show that it's just easy to attach these ties. I've used these Wonder Clips, and by the way, we have them in packages of 50.
Oh, they're a really wonderful tool to use for all kinds of uses, not just for sewing, but crafting as well.
So I'm going to put the presser foot down next to, I've ironed this all and everything. And so I'm going to put the presser foot down here on this strap. And then I'm going to go into Stitch Edit. And because I've got my zigzag needle plate on, I can move my needle over to the left and to the right. I need to, sorry, I need to do it to the right. And so I'm going to go to the right to a stitch setting that I use frequently would be 1.5, and that makes it so that the needle will, the fabric will run along this guide and the needle will be over to the right a little bit. And so I'm just going to sew this strap, following that edge guide, removing my Wonder Clips as I go, and you can see how easy and fast that you could sew this strap and just sew it across the top. What I've done is just sew it on both sides across the edges. I made this 3 inches wide, and then I've used the rest of this. I cut across the width of the fabric, and I'm using the rest of that width to sew the straps.
So this is really makes mask making really handy. So this machine is available. We have it here. Call for more information about the Creative Icon, and some other machines that Pfaff makes. We would love to talk to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Betsy, and have a wonderful